Hey everyone, Matt here from the Jimmy Lewis Off-Road Riding School, and today I want to tell you about the online beginner course that we have available right now at jimmylewisoffroad.com/online courses. This is a course that you can purchase and receive lifetime access to 10 lessons and 10 drills that I use when I'm teaching beginner riders out here in Pahrump, Nevada. These lessons and drills are designed to take anyone who has never touched a motorcycle before and have them riding safely and comfortably at the completion of this course. We've been developing this curriculum for quite some time, and with the feedback that we have gotten from real beginner riders, I feel comfortable in saying it is the safest and most comprehensive introduction to the sport that we all love. Now, if you've been riding for quite some time but want to help someone out who is just looking to get into the sport, you can purchase this as a gift and help give them this safe introduction. Again, this is all available at jimmylewisoffroad.com/online courses. Now, here's the show.
My name is Jimmy Lewis.
And I'm Crazy Nate Sciacqua.
And this is the Better Rider podcast. So I'm glad you remember what your name was. That's a good start to this podcast.
Doctor gave me some drugs so I could remember that.
Oh, you're on the mind altering stuff now. So anyways, Crazy Nate has been a good friend of mine and a helper at our school. From the old days when he was one of our very first original chase riders, because we used to go a lot longer distances and stuff. And he evolved into being our chase truck driver since we've been out here in Pahrump. And now he's evolved to where we've completely banned him from doing anything because he's extra Crazy Nate these days.
He doesn't want me to run the truck anymore.
Well, we were just talking before the show, and he was like, "Oh, you finally figured out what I did to the truck?" And I'm like, "No, you never did anything to the truck. What'd you do to the truck?"
Never. Oh, I never broke it. No, it got broke now and then, but it was never my fault.
Oh, okay. It just broke.
It just broke.
The chase truck broke.
It was fragile.
You were one of our best deterrents for riders actually going out and getting hurt, because I used to warn them. I said, and if you get hurt or something, you're going to end up in the truck with him.
Yeah. And you get injured worse in the ride back.
Yeah, it could be. Or it's we don't know where he's going to go once he tries to rescue you. So it all works out. But Nate, you have a long history in motorcycling. I would like to tell the story about when we met officially. I was out riding with my then young, beautiful girlfriend, Heather. And we were riding up in the mountains, and we're not going to say where those mountains are, but they're our favorite sacred mountains. And I rode up to the top of this hill climb, and I ran into these two old dudes. And by old, I mean you were probably at that time a little bit younger than I am now.
No, I'd say about the same age.
About the same age.
Yeah.
So you were up there with Dick Romas.
Yeah.
And I ran up to these two guys. A crazy Hawaiian guy. Mm-hmm. And you guys had a chainsaw. And I rode up, and I'm like, "Hey, guys." And I go, "What are you guys doing?" And you're like, I don't know if you gave me we were out building birdhouses or you were actually working on trails."
I probably told you about the birdhouses.
Yeah, I might have said birdhouses because you didn't know me at the time. But you did know me because you were in the Dirt Diggers.
And I knew you as a racer.
As a racer kid. Mm-hmm. And I was probably on, at the time, a KDX 200 or my KX 250. I don't remember. I remember just a few months before that, I went and rode your Dirt Diggers motocross race out at Kernville on a KX 500. Mm-hmm. And I think I actually ended up winning the pro class on the thing.
Yeah, you blew their doors off.
Yeah, because it was a bunch of desert. It wasn't real motocross guys. It was a lot of desert guys doing motocross races. But so we'd had interactions, but I didn't really meet you until I met the real Nate Sciacqua.
Well, that's too bad.
It
all went downhill from there.
No, that was an awesome day because you I love the trails, and you inspired me to want to go out and work on and build and create and maintain trails, which you were a master of. Mm-hmm. And between a lot of the friends that I made through you up in the mountains that were all doing the same stuff, that was some of. I mean, if I look back at all the stuff I've done, some of the things I'm most proud of is some of the trails I've made. Mm-hmm. Some of the trails that we've made. Mm-hmm. We have a couple that we've made together, and then just a lot of the maintenance and things we've done over the years.
And then to know about all the guys that get to ride them and enjoy them.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just makes you feel so good.
I like the guys that ride, enjoy them, and respect them. I don't like all the ding-dongs that go and spin tires and tear them up and tell all their buddies that bring more ding-dongs, but I guess they're trying to enjoy it too. I remember how hard it was to find the trails that we used to make, and even when they were there, like the trail I found you on was a numbered Forest Service trail, and it was hard. But here's the best part about that. Tell them about my girlfriend at the time.
Oh, Heather?
Yeah.
Yeah, what about it?
Remember you guys said, aren't you going to go help her?
Oh, yes, I remember that. That being male chauvinist that I was. Yeah, you're supposed to go over and help her. No, she'll help you.
No, it was a pretty nasty uphill. They were at the top of this nasty. It had some good roots in it where you had to like launch over these roots, and you'd hear her come up and get most of the way, and hear bike shut off, go back down. And after like the second time, you both looked at me like they're like, "Someone coming?" I go, "Yeah, it's my girlfriend." And they're like, "Aren't you going to go help her?" "Oh no, she's a rock. She'll make it up to the top of the hill." So that was how I met Nate, and then we started riding on those trails and working on those trails. And I was fortunate enough to, when I started doing the riding schools, you were out doing these long desert rides, and you're like, "Oh, you're at Prim. I want to come out to Prim and help out at Prim." And this is where we started doing the schools. And so you were out at those classes almost every time. I think you like the free food.
Not only that, I like the place, like the gambling and all that stuff.
Oh, too. Yeah. The free drinks.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
The free drinks
cool.
at the casino.
Free drinks and gambling.
What else? When you're stealing all their money.
And then you get to go ride the bike. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the early days. And then now... Well, I could tell some stories. It's supposed to be about riding and riding techniques, but we want to introduce you.
There's more to it than that.
That's the whole thing.
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, the personalities. And this is a good thing. You know, when you do come to the school, you get to meet a lot of neat people. You interact with some really interesting people. Like today, we were talking with 2 Canadian cops.
Yeah, I didn't know they were cops.
Yeah, from different disciplines. But sometimes it's doctors and lawyers. Sometimes it's plumbers. I was a plumber today. Sometimes it's it's plumbers and tradesmen, and then all different kinds of things. And you get to talk to them and meet them at the class during lunch and whatnot. So. As far as the riding stuff goes, you come from a different era of riding.
Yeah.
So this standing up thing is kind of crazy to you.
Well, there was a reason for it, right? Now it wasn't big. It wasn't. Well, it was purpose, but it wasn't really meant to be what it did. What it was about was when I first started riding, I was in terrible shape. Right, I didn't work out, to try and be the best physical and all that. I was this Mr. Peeper's school teacher, right? So I was really out of shape. So I got on the bike, and to get any distance at all, I had to sit down, I didn't have the strength to stand up on the pegs and bang and do all that stuff. So I developed a way of going as fast as I could possibly go, sitting down. And that was crazy. People thought I was crazy, but and they said they thought I was doing that. No, I wasn't doing that on purpose. I was doing it because I didn't have any strength.
Oh, okay. So it was a result of something.
That's right, of being out of shape.
5 days in the classroom.
Yes. And then get ready to go out on a weekend.
One day out in the desert racing.
That's it. And as it was, I didn't have time to work out or anything. I didn't have the money to work out either. So, and it worked.
Yeah.
I got to be going pretty fast, sitting on the seat.
Well, you did win the Greenhorn Enduro.
Yeah. I won a lot of races sitting on the seat. But the reason was I didn't get as tired as the other guys because I was sitting on the seat and they were standing up, using all their energy.
I tend to fundamentally disagree with everything you said.
Of course, but it's illogical.
No, that's okay. No, I always wondered the reason. But then in the beginning, the bikes were kind of designed a little bit more to sit down on.
Absolutely.
You think about the bikes now. The seats are getting kind of
everything.
They're
suspension.
Yeah. Well, the suspension's good, but it's stiff, and the seats are kind of small. There's no padding in it. And in the old days, I mean, think about the seats on your old Yamahas, because you were a Yamaha guy.
Yeah, there were couches. They were, they looked at you and said, "Sit on me," right? And so I did, right? And they worked pretty good. But those are the days that we really didn't have manufactured, really good dirt bikes. There were street bikes that were converted. My first dirt bike was a 305 Super Hawk. It weighed like more than my car right now.
You not only raced it on Sunday, you raced it to work.
Oh, absolutely. No, I put the stuff back on it and rode it to work. Of course I did. I was too poor to have a dirt bike.
Yeah. So, but even as the dirt bikes evolved, they were your first bikes were scramblers and things of this nature.
That's what this was.
So if you're not familiar with what that is, go look at when you see these guys doing these hooligan races.
Yeah.
And these guys are chickens. They just ride them around a flat track. They don't even go out and pound them through the desert. Actually, they're starting to do this now.
Oh, yeah, but they work pretty good on flat track.
Like at the races like the Mint. Yeah, at flat track, they're good bikes.
They really work good.
But at races like the Mint now, every once in a while, these guys, they have like a kind of a hooligan class and stuff. And so guys I don't know what they're doing. Like, why do you want to beat yourself up that bad? You should start a riding school, Nate.
Yeah, right.
You should do a class the day before the those races where they have it and say, "I was a pro at this stuff. Let me show you how to do it."
Yeah. I'm going to show them how I did it. No.
Okay.
I don't think that'd work, dude.
So back in the evolution of the bikes, you also. Boy, that's bad, Jimmy. Total non-proper etiquette. Okay, so back to the show.
Okay.
So you became a test rider for Rick Simon, Super Hunky, at Dirt Bike Magazine.
Yep.
And I guess it was a chance encounter where you bumped into this guy with dirt bike. Or no, he bumped into you.
Right.
Because you had
Happened in an alley.
Yeah.
Happened in an alley. He was servicing his dirt bike. And for God only knows what, I don't remember why, I was driving down that alley and saw this guy working on his dirt bike in the back of his garage out of the alley. And I had that 305 Super Hawk dirt bike, not really street bike, and got to talking to him, and that was it.
Yeah.
From then on, we became buddies and went to the races, me with my tank and him with a real-life dirt bike. And then before you knew it, I was on a real-life dirt bike.
Because you became one of his main test riders.
Rick got all that. Rick did everything for me. He was amazing, amazing.
Yeah, and if you want to read some of the stories that are tall tales, yet definitely based in some form of truth, Monkey
Most
Butt.
of them got a little bit of truth in them.
Yeah, Monkey Butt. One of the best stories in there is Rick describing Nate's driving on the way out to Baymare Motocross
Oh no,
Park.
you're not going to bring that one up. Oh no, that was
because you're known for spending a lot of money on frivolous items, like things like tie downs.
I couldn't do that. I was a school teacher.
Right.
Bottom of the pay scale. So what do? I use shoestrings and ropes and stuff like that. You guys got tie downs?
I heard it was chains.
And definitely chains were great. They come off the wall by themselves, and oh my God.
And since you like spending a lot of money on gas, you were developing this technique, especially during the fuel crunch of the 70s. It was called hypermiling, right?
Yeah.
It meant never use your brakes and carry as much speed around the turns as possible.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, ask my wife. I still do the same thing.
Yeah.
I still do the same thing.
Yeah.
I coast down every hill. Never break into a turn. Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
You lose all your you could lose mileage.
Yeah, but imagine how much time you spent trying to find the motorcycles when they flew off into the lemon groves.
Oh, that's another story. That was because of the trailer that I built out scrap metal from the oil fields, and I put it all together, made a trailer out of it, and the loops for the tie downs.
Yep.
Right. I used huge nails and bent them, welded them, and they came loose half the time, and the other half of the time I had to use ropes. Didn't have tie downs. And you hit and the other thing is the trailers didn't have any suspension, right? They were just steel welded to an axle.
Yeah.
Right. So you hit a bump, and the only suspension is going to be the bike to the trailer, right? And chains don't work. When you squish it, the chain comes off, right? And then the bike comes up and starts flying. And pretty soon you look out your rearview mirror and the bike's flying past you. And you're going, whoa, wait a minute. And lands in an orchard upside down.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it. It was down the hill. Rick and I got out of the car and couldn't find his bike. We went around and around. Pretty soon, we heard dribbling. Something was dripping. And we turned around, and his bike's upside down. Gas pouring out of it in this guy's orchard. Oh, my God.
Was there an electric fence involved?
You know, I don't remember if it was electric. There was barbed wire fence. Yeah, it might have been, but we had to get it over the fence and back up on a trailer.
I think in the book it was the fence may have been electric, but you know how the stories go, right?
If it was, we got over that one too. But we got to Bay Mare a little late. I missed practice.
So in all this motocross racing, you were a District 37 #1 motocross plate holder?
Yeah, I held 5 of those.
Okay.
At different times. I never held them consecutively, though, because for one thing, I didn't have the money to keep doing it over and over. And then for another thing is I didn't have time. So I would get like a #1 plate. It takes a lot. You got to go to every point paying event and get ready for it and everything and put money into it and a whole bit. And so that whole year is like taken up to my sport. And then being a family guy and I had kids, it's like I had to give a break. So the next year, I didn't race, all right? And then the next year, I started getting withdrawal symptoms, so I had to go back racing. And so I raced every other year and recuperated every other year financially and for my marriage. Yeah. And so that's why I have 5 #1 plates.
And not 10?
Yeah. And every other year I had it. And it was started at the 250s and went to the open class and then went to seniors too.
Yep.
When I was a senior, I had a #1 plate there too. And I had a #1 plate going in the desert too before I got eliminated.
Eliminated?
Yeah, eliminated. I'm the reason why there's a bomb return.
Oh.
Smoke bomb return. Because I was a really good racer. I was a #1, had a #1 plate. Practicing the bomb run.
Yep.
And in those days, you practiced the bomb run, you turn around and came back.
So for those people that don't know, a bomb run is when out in the desert, I have to explain this. So in desert races, especially older desert races, they'd basically draw a chalk line across the desert and then out they'd find a hill or something like that, and they'd have a pile of tires that would be burning, and that's why they called it a bomb, and you'd see the smoke out there.
Right.
But before the race, usually the day before the race, you're able to go out and ride your line from the start line to the bomb, and you practice this so you can get a good start, and this is what Nate's talking about doing.
And
you're practicing it.
I had been running I think I'd run 4 practices up to the bomb. And so I knew every hill that I didn't have to let off the throttle, so I could fly over a hill and know that there was nothing on rocks or anything on the other side.
Yep.
And so I was really, really flying, and I hit another guy in midair coming backwards on the bomb.
Oh.
In midair. It damn near killed both of us. I still got the steel plate in my left leg and screws in the whole bit, and it kind of put a damper on
your desert racing?
I was 40 years old.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went desert racing after that, and I did really good. I did a couple of European scrambles, and I was still really good at that because there's no bomb run. I don't have to worry about running into anybody.
Not a big giant bomb
and
run.
I did really good at that too. But
so after that, they decided to make it so everybody had to ride. You get to the bomb, and then there was a bomb run return, so we didn't have two-way traffic on the bomb practice.
And the bomb run is now marked, especially with striped ribbons, so you have to stay on that ribbon on the way back.
Right.
So you don't do stuff like that. What happened in those days?
I remember when I raced, there was always a bomb run return, and I do remember you telling me this story. So and now I remember that you're responsible for
because I was a credible threat. Racing, if I was just Joe Dokes that didn't have any, racing background, everybody knew who I was, knew I was really a good rider. And if something like that could happen to a rider at my quality,
then it could happen. Yeah.
And so they all went, "Whoa, wait a minute, we got to change this," and they changed it. District 37 changed it.
Yeah.
That was great.
Well, right on. Let's get back into the riding techniques. Have you learned anything from all of the stuff that I teach in these classes, that we teach in these classes?
Wow. Have I learned anything? I doubt it. I have a very low IQ, so I don't retain a lot of stuff.
Because
so I don't know.
I promise you.
What did I retain?
All these years of hanging out, sitting in the truck, listening to me babble about how to ride better and stuff like that. Has any of it actually sunk in?
Yeah.
Oh, it did. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to know one.
It is the best way in the world to go out and enjoy yourself and go racing and forget about everything else. That's what I learned. That's what racing is.
Oh, okay.
It's just the whole world disappears. Only one thing is important, and that's racing and hanging out with your buddies.
Oh, okay.
It cleans your spirit.
I thought we were going to talk about balance and traction.
Is that involved, really?
in the school? Bless you.
Balance and traction.
Maybe.
Yeah, it does. I guess it does, for real. But the most important thing for me, and I think for other people it is too, 90% of the people that are racing out there are hardworking every way, which way they work. They're all hardworking people, and they get out on the weekends and get their souls cleansed. Get on that dirt bike and screw that throttle on, and nothing matters except that. Your soul is cleansed. And so that's what I did. That's what I did. That's what
so
I got
do you think
every weekend
that they should
have to listen to the brats in the classroom?
They shouldn't. They just need to go racing, not come to the class.
Well, no, you really want to learn how to win. Yeah, you go get somebody that knows what they're doing.
Okay,
they'll tell you the secrets of it. What
if maybe winning isn't on your top priority list, but you want to go out and like crash less and be less tired at the end of the race? Maybe that would be a good reason to come to the school. Or you'd miss a weekend of racing and spend extra money, and they shouldn't do it.
No, I think the best thing to do is learn to come to the school to learn the techniques that you need.
I had to bait that hook pretty heavy.
Yeah, you did good. You learn the techniques that make it work for you.
Okay, good.
You don't just go out and screw the throttle on and hope for the best and find out the hard way. Oh, that didn't work.
But it worked for you. Hey, I've seen your number one plates in the garage.
That's all I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned by crashing and burning, and that didn't work, so try something else.
Okay.
A lot of crashes and burns.
So I'm going to break some news to you here.
Okay.
So really the reason that we had you riding sweep, which meant behind everybody, is because I did not want anybody to witness your riding technique.
You didn't want me to corrupt their riding style.
Because, you legitimately haul ass. Like, I've time we've been riding together sometimes. Like, Nate, slow the hell down. And he's like, why did you slow down? I go, man, you went right through those rocks. Like, I didn't even see him. And he was not lying. He really didn't see them.
Well, there's a thing you didn't really notice that I wasn't really sitting on the seat. I was just a few inches above it, right? And so it looks like I'm sitting on the seat all the time, right? And so I really, that was the secret. Get really low on the seat. And it worked really, that way you don't have to stretch up and use all that energy and then sit back down. You only have to raise this much and go back and forth. It's a lot easier.
I'm surprised that your technique has not migrated up with the top racers of today. Because I don't see them.
They're all better than me.
Oh, really? They couldn't race the bikes that you raced. They'd cry and complain.
Well, that's why I beat them. Because all they did was cry and complain.
Tell us how you won the Greenhorn Enduro.
I really didn't win the Greenhorn Enduro.
Oh, here we go.
The Dirt Diggers Motorcycle Club won the Greenhorn Enduro for me, right? Greenhorn Enduro was 500 miles, 2 days of racing, right? You have to have the best pit crew in the world to do that, right? If you want to do good.
Right.
And I had it. They were there at every single pit stop. And I beat the pits. Sometimes I would beat the pit crew to the pits.
Yep.
Went to my pit stop. they would scramble through and get whatever they had to get from everybody else, put it together, put me on the bike, and get me going again, right?
Because you wanted to quit after the first day. It was really gnarly.
Absolutely. And I didn't know how to keep time. When enduros, you have to know how to keep time.
This is an important thing.
Yes, this enduro was the worst, was the best enduro, the hardest enduro probably ever. It's like an ISDT thing.
Yep.
You just go as fast as you can, as hard as you can, and hope for the best.
Because it was so gnarly.
It was so freaking gnarly.
You got behind and you just were catching up.
I was always catching up, and I was always getting to the checkpoint either at 0 or maybe 1 or 2 minutes late, right? Well, the only way to do that is not by keeping time all along. It's by having that throttle screwed on every time you get a chance.
Seems to be a theme, but we'll keep going.
Yeah, so I get to the checks either on time or a minute late, and I blew 2 checks. Right, and they both got thrown out, right? Because they were at the wrong place.
Okay,
right, they were in the wrong places, and all of the rest of my checks were great. But that's not all. That's an overnight race. You race for 2 days, right? At the end of that, remember, I'm not in good shape. I'm a school teacher,
okay,
right? And I don't go to the gym and I don't work out.
And you were riding a dirt bike magazine test bike.
That's correct.
It was a piece of junk.
It was a 250 Yamaha or something.
Right.
Some dirt bike test bike, and so. When I got to the end of that first day, 250 miles, I almost couldn't get off the bike. I was totally freaking exhausted.
Yeah.
I was just, and they said, Nate, you're doing great. You're winning this thing. And I said, I don't give a shit. I quit. And they go, no, you can't win. You can't quit. You're winning, Nate. You're winning. And I go, dude, I'm done. I laid on the back of the pickup truck, right, with all my clothes on and fell asleep. Poof, just like that. I said, Nate, you got the frames cracked on this thing. You got to get it to. It was at Ridgecrest, Charlie's place.
Yep.
That was the overnight thing, and Nate, you got to get it. I'm sorry. Okay. You got.
You're good there.
You have to get there. You got to take this. No, I don't. I quit. And they go, dude, I'm done. I lay in the back of the truck. No, woke up. Nate, wake up in the morning. The sun's coming up. I'm still laying in the back of the truck, right? Nate, get up. You got to go. Your time's coming up. And what? What? Come on, the bike. I said, what? The bike's but no, it's not. I get up. The bike's all welded together. It's all gassed up. It's oiled. It's everything ready to go. And the roll chart's on there. And get on the bike and go. That's why I won.
Yeah.
And I got on the bike and went.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It was like ISDT, just ride it as fast and hard as you could. And I did. And that's why I won.
Yeah.
I didn't really win that.
Okay, so no training. You used no training.
No, none whatsoever.
You didn't do much bike prep.
No, the bike was prepped hopefully when I got it.
Yeah.
I put gas in it.
Right. You weren't going to race anymore, but you just woke up and raced.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay.
I was exhausted. The next day, though, when I got on the bike and I started riding, I felt good.
Okay.
Right? That I must have slept 10, 12 hours. I don't know how long I slept. I didn't get up till the sun woke me up. Right? So I was really refreshed.
Yeah.
So that all worked out. It was amazing. But I did a lot of enduros that were like that. The really, really hard ones I did good at because I was never a good timekeeper. Timekeeping was really hard for me.
Okay, so in every episode, what we like to do, and we talked a little bit about the nugget. We like to give away a little bit of a nugget because we've really talked hardly anything about like real riding school stuff. But your stories are epic.
Yeah,
and I wanted to just share some of the personalities that we have in our class. So even today, we pretty much banned Nate from talking to the clients because
it's bad.
He would just tell them, "Yo, dude, just don't listen to him. Just sit down and gas it." Right?
Yeah, don't do what I did. Right, do it the right way. Prep, get prepared.
So you let a little bit, but you've got to have the secret magic sauce for the sit down riding technique. And I think you talked a little bit about it. You might have talked about this hovering or whatever it is, but I'm just gonna.
That's correct.
I'm giving you the floor right now.
Okay.
You're gonna tell me about the sit down riding technique.
Okay. The sit down thing is you actually only 3 or 4 inches off the seat, really. Right? You're bent, your knees are bent and everything, but it's not to the point where you're exhausting your thigh muscles, right? Because you're so close to the seat. So you're not going up in the air and back. What you do when you're standing up full on the bike, which most people do.
Right.
Right? And so I think I conserved energy that way.
By kind of bouncing up off the seat, like sort of hovering.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's probably why. Well, because I didn't prepare physically. I didn't work out. I didn't have time. School was, I really didn't have time. And you have to go to college. You have to go to school. After you go to school, you teach, and then so I didn't really have the time.
Okay.
Right. And to get out on the weekend, go riding. And the worst thing that happens is that it happened to me a lot. Your thigh muscles. Those are the whole thing.
I can understand this.
Is your thigh muscles. They have to be made out of steel, right? If they are, you're going to win. I mean,
okay.
You'll do good.
Or you're not going to get as tired as anybody else who tries this technique.
That's right. So my sitting barely off the seat saved a lot of energy.
Okay.
And that was the whole thing.
I completely disagree.
I know I
with
couldn't
you.
go as fast. I know I couldn't go as fast, but it was fast enough to beat them.
Right.
Most of them. Most of them.
So like we
Not all of
say,
them.
there's a reason why we call him Crazy Nate. We love him to death, and he's a teacher of young influential minds. But not of motorcycles. I tell you what, you can make a really good motorcycle trail though. There's some trails that you've made that are epic, and it required a lot of work and
that became my passion.
Yeah,
really making trails for other guys to ride. That made me feel so good when I made a bitchin' trail and guys would ride it and go, "Wow, man, that was." I
used to like bringing like hot shot racers that didn't know how to trail ride up to the mountains, and we would take them on a trail, and they would go, "Oh, who you bringing?" And he at the time he was kind of they were gnarly enough to where he didn't want to ride them, like especially with the guys I was riding with them. But you knew how to go from one entrance to another entrance to another entrance. And I remember showing up, and we'll end it on this note. I'd show up with these hot shot racer guys.
Yeah, big name guys.
Big name guys. You know these guys. Well, they're old now, but you know them. We'd show up, and Nate would kind of ride up. He'd ride up and meet us where we were meeting. And then I go, "Who's that?" And I go, that's Nate. And they'd see this old guy could kind of hard time getting on and off his bike, and just kind of come skidding up on some bike that was. Sometimes they were painted all black, and your gear was a little ratty.
Most of them were painted either black or brown,
yeah,
or both.
Yeah, and so they go, "Who's that guy?" "Oh, it's Crazy Nate. He made a lot of these trails up here. He's going to go riding with us." And they'd get so bummed out. They'd be like, "Oh, this is gonna suck. This guy can't. There's no way he could ride him." Well, he'd ride in with us, and he'd kind of be right behind the guys and stuff. They get someplace gnarly. Well, Nate would sort of disappear, and then he'd be at the end of the trail. We'd pop out at the end of the trail, and the guys are all struggling and having a hard time, and you're already there. And after like the third time, they're like, "Hey, what's up? How's that dude?" I go, "You didn't see him go by you?" We used to tell him, it's like, "No, there was a go around line. He passed you guys. When you were stuck on that rock, he went right by you."
When you were picking your bike up.
Yeah. They're like, "Yeah." Or you're dragging your bike down that hill, or pushing it up that hill. He rode right by you, and they're like, "Really?" I used to screw with these guys so bad. So that was priceless. Or the times when you were on the trails and they were gnarly, and you'd come up and you go, "Hey, you want me to help?" The hotshot kid.
Some old guy.
Yeah, "Hey, you want me to help?" Or you'd start giving them riding techniques. What would you tell them when they were stuck on rocks?
I don't remember. Probably nothing. "Get up, hurry up." Hurry up. That was my favorite
Hurry up,
line.
Get out of my way.
That was my favorite line. Hurry up.
Okay.
Hurry up.
So anyways, good to have you on the show, Nate. Say hi to all your fans out there. There's a lot of people that watch this podcast.
I still have fans. Most of them are dead.
No, all the people that have come to the class before, they loved you. You're always laughing and having every good time, and then
life is good.
Yeah.
Life's
and
been
then
really
and
good.
then on a very rare occasion we had to have you drive somebody out of the desert, but it was few and far between. Usually from bike problems more than anything else.
Absolutely. Rarely injuries.
Yeah.
Rarely.
So
just
cool.
like this. Rarely injuries.
Right on. Well, anyways, so at the end of the show, we always say, "We'll see you out in the trail." Give them a thumbs up and cheers.
See you.
Your hand doesn't bend any better?
Well, this is arthritis, dude. Wait a minute.
Is that from hanging on when you were doing that squat position?
Look it's made for the handlebar.
That's what they say about mine.
Arthritis.
They hold beers and handlebars real well.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
The doctor goes, don't you want to be able to bend that? And I go, no, as long as it does that. And you know what? And the doctors look at me and, oh, pervert. And I go, no, God. The handlebar slides over the hands. That's all you got to do.
Mine does the same thing.
Yeah.
We're the same kind of
You
person.
don't have to make a fist.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, just make that. It works great.
Okay. So anyways, with that, everybody, we'll see you out in the trail. Cheers.
Cheers.